Hello, heathens.
Hello,
It's
heathens.
heathens at night.
Heathens in the dark.
I'm freaking tired, so I might yawn a few times, but that's okay. I'm here and I'm ready, baby.
Here and I'm ready, I swear.
I swear I'm ready.
That's all right. I didn't even put any makeup on because I forgot. But I did get eyebrows on, so we're okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't notice. It looks. I guess I'm so used to seeing you without makeup too that like I was like,
Hmm.
you look normal
I'm
to
normal.
me. So I don't know. Welcome to heathens at night. And it's cool
Heathen.
because even though this is going to come out during the day, we're talking about the Black Madonna today.
Ooh.
And this was a subject that we told you guys in the last episode we were going to talk about strengths and weaknesses, and we decided to change it because neither of us was really feeling that. And this has been on our list, and I have not ever really heard of the Black Madonna to the point that when I was doing my research today, I texted my grandma, who is a Catholic, but she's pretty open, I think I've told you guys that before, to see if she had heard of the Black Madonna. And she said, "Isn't that the Black Mary?" And I said, "Well, I think you need to read more about this because there's lots of interpretations." And I
That's the
did not
thing.
realize how deep and how big of a freaking topic this is that we decided just before recording, we're going to make this a part one and a part two because
Hmm.
I just, yeah, I got chills on that. There's just so much information about the Black Madonna.
And
Um,
she's really so important too.
and it's so fascinating. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like this answered a lot of questions for me, granted, just to quickly say this, Black Madonna is considered a deity. She's a deity. So just so you guys know that portion of it, but
Hmm.
it answered questions that I feel like I've had and didn't know I had, and I didn't know I wanted the answers to, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I, I was in a rabbit hole. Nobody could talk to me at all today because I was just at the salon recording or researching today, and I was just deep. I was deep in it. The only thing that was pulling me is I had to go wash a client.
You're like, oh, I gotta take her highlights out.
I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, I got one more minute. How much further can I go? How much faster can I read?
Yeah, when you get down a rabbit hole, that's what it is too. It's like, I need more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could. The part that really got me too is we've talked about this before. I'm like really big into the history of things, and like I love that part of the research, and the history and the theories around the Black Madonna are vast.
Absolutely.
Freaking vast, man. Like I think that I want to bring the history in the next episode because it is very fascinating, and I really appreciate it. So, I guess to jump in, the Black Madonna is an image of divinity shrouded in darkness. Um, we'll go into like other stuff about that in the history of that in the next episode because that's the easiest way to describe what she looks like, I guess,
Hmm.
without getting too deep into it.
Yeah.
Um, but I did read somewhere, and I really, really like this, that it is possible to consider the Black Madonna as the dark-skinned Virgin Mary. And they I later learned in my research that they are two separate entities, and they're kind of considered the yin and yang, which I found really fascinating. I thought that was a really cool, um, I don't know, comparison of them being yin and yang.
Yeah.
And so the Black Madonna is known as she has a ton of names. I do have a list of names and the correlations behind those because I thought it was also really fascinating, all these different facets to this one deity. But she could be known as the Queen of the Earth and as Mary of the Queen of Heavens. The Black Madonna is a fertile and generative, is as fertile and generative as Mary is the icon of immaculate conception and incorruptibility. So two separate entities, but like again, they're like the flip sides of the coin.
Right, right.
I just, it I don't know. This one really got me. I was like, holy shit, how have I never heard of this? How have I never looked this up? Like, you know, growing up Christian and being in multiple different churches consistently, I never heard of the Black Madonna. Of
Mm-mm.
course not, because it's not in the Bible, but she is. We just, she's not called the Black Madonna.
What is she called?
So, where is this? Because just so fascinating. Um, it's in here somewhere. Okay, so I I'm sure I'll find it later, but essentially it's believed that the Black Madonna is the void that God came to the earth or came to our realm and created everything out of. She's the beginning and the end. She's
Mm-hmm.
everything is born out of her and then it cycles back to her in death.
Mm-hmm.
She essentially holds us in her womb.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, she's the void. Because I've
She is
always
a void.
wondered as a kid, what do you mean God just came and did this black? Like we didn't get the explanation really that well of like he came into this black what? Like what? He just came into darkness? What do you mean? Like that makes no sense. But they it does when you put a deity
Well,
behind it.
it makes sense though because it's black and dark. Like if you notice that the characteristic of it is kind of absence because it's not light. So it's almost like she is supposed to be in the shadows and like because she is the shadow.
She is the shadow. She there. I can't remember where this is at either because I have. I mean, I could have wrote you a whole novel on this, but they. She is what light is birthed out of because we talk about
Mm-hmm.
this often. You can't have light without dark. You
Mm-mm.
can't have dark without light. She's the darkness that light was born out of, and I'm just like, that was so cool.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing that it has kept hidden for so long. I mean, even like when I was researching just on social media, there's very limited amount of information on it.
Yeah,
Very limited.
it's crazy because there's a shit ton of articles written, but a lot of
Hmm.
people don't like to do that particular kind of research anymore, which is totally understandable completely. But like it's crazy because her image is in multiple places throughout the world and it pulls a shit ton of visitors. Like
Yep.
I was reading statistics on it and it is insane. It is one of the higher up um visited like tourist spots for people, but I've never heard of it in 30 years, other than the
Right.
one time you mentioned it like months ago, back in October. And I'm like, how the hell is this image, this statue, these different statues of her so big in our history and so big in the world and I've never heard of it. Like,
Well, they
hello,
took
what?
they took all the female characters out of Christianity. And Christianity, whether you like it or not, is really saturated in our day to day, even into our programming, in our thoughts, our mind, like the way we run the government, everything like that is so saturated with this masculine brand of Christianity. It's almost to the point where it's almost like it's going to break off and become its own entity. I mean, it already is, but like, I don't think people see it yet. Like there's this one brand of Christianity, and these are the people that yell and fight and do all this stuff. And then there's the other brand of like, no, like that's not what we were supposed, that's not how we do this.
Yeah, I agree
Right?
with you. It's like the angry Christians and then the ones that are like, wait, that's not that's not us. No, we're
No.
not everybody's like that. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I actually found some pretty interesting stuff about they say the Black Madonna is the virgin who consorts with no man or deity, as all life emanated from her and her mother nature. Now that's not what Hinduism believes because the Black Madonna is also in Hinduism. She's under a different name. It's Kali.
Mm-hmm.
super fascinating because the Black Madonna's Kali in Hinduism is a manifestation of the Divine Mother, and
Hmm.
she's equated with the eternal night and the transcendent power of time, and is the consort of the god Shiva, who Shiva is the destroyer of unreality. So she reveals illusory self-centered views of reality. So meaning when we have these illusions, these very self-centered views of like our reality around us, she reveals that that's what's happening. And she compels the disillusion or destruction of the false ego. And so
Wow.
the two other things I got about her and the in Hinduism, which I'm telling you, I could have kept going. In his Hinduism, Shiva and Kali grant liberation. Together, they work together and they grant liberation by removing the illusion of the ego and identification with the body and awakening the eternal I am. He destroys, she reveals. And it,
Wow.
oh, I was like, I love this. I love this life. This is so cool. Um, the last thing I had about her as Kali is that her black skin represents the womb of the unmanifest quantum field, meaning the void, from which all of creation arises, into which all of creation will eventually dissolve.
It's almost like dark matter.
Isn't that just so freaking fast? Like, oh,
No, it's amazing. I mean, like that's a lot of times because uh there was what was it? I can't think. I can't think.
what kind of thing?
The black spear is like that too on the tree of life. So if you
Mm.
came down from the light and then you go into the male version, which is light, so the light goes into the darkness and she gives it boundaries and structure and then births it out. So it's very much in the same in the Kabbalah too.
So fascinating because it's just all these the Black Madonna shows up in so many different religions. Like when it comes to Christianity, I I won't go too deep into this. I'll save this for part two because I again there's things that I now get to dive deeper into. Like one of them that I had read is that the Black Madonna and Mary, the two of them, in essence of their being, represent the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, bearing divine wisdom and containing the divinized soul.
So what does that mean?
That's what I said. That's why I said I have to. This was something because we're only doing this one, we were only going to do this one episode. I wanted to mention it. And then if you guys were going to go ahead and look this up, then I was going to say, I want to dive deeper into that, which I'll be bringing in part
Yeah.
two because I want to know like how their essence represents the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail. And if you guys haven't done any Holy Grail work or Ark of the Covenant, I suggest looking that up for episode two, but I'll be going into that too because I thought that was super fascinating. Um, and I also like some other Christian things where like I read that the Black Madonna's darkness points to her sexuality, while the pale Madonna, meaning Mary, is often depicted lovingly embracing the baby Jesus.
Hmm.
The Black Madonna stands alone and holds the Christ-like child with noble austerity, austerity meaning sternness or severity, or like an attitude of extreme plainness or simplicity of style.
Hmm.
And I just the imagery in that to me is so freaking powerful.
Well, did you come across the one where it was almost taken from, or they're trying to say it's taken from ish
Isis?
ISIS.
I did. I have this. So
Yeah. And then the baby Jesus is
Horus.
yes.
Yes. So I actually have this too. I didn't go too deep into this either because I thought we were doing part one, but essentially the true origins of the Black Madonna remains unclear because it's mostly just theorized. They have a lot of theories of where they came, but they can't really nail down exactly where she came from and how she came into a belief or existence. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's theories ranging from ancient pagan goddesses to representations of the Mother Mary from the early Christians. There's Hinduism. One of the researchers, or one of the theories, I mean, that I thought was super fascinating is the cult of Isis. That
Mm-hmm.
some researchers suggest that the images may have been influenced by the cult of Isis, while others propose that they may be a result of early Christian encounters with African communities.
Mm-hmm.
And the theoretic origins of the Black Madonna can be traced back to ancient times, um, where, she was depicted, but she emerged in Christian Christianity as a really powerful symbol of the Divine Mother and
Mm-hmm.
embodying the mystery of the incarnation and the paradox of divine love manifested in a human form.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go deeper into that too, about the cult of Isis, because there was so much I could have. When I say I could have wrote like a, not kidding, like a 20-page paragraph, like essay on this, I could have, because this was really fascinating. The whole it being
So
influenced by the cult of Isis was
I'm not
fascinating.
sure if it was the cult of Isis that I heard this from, but I was hearing there was a lady that was talking about the Black Madonna, and there was a cult or a group of men and women that were only worshiping her, or it was either Madonna or Mother Mary. It was a very goddess like cult or group or religious group, so much so that when men went to her, they would castrate themselves.
Wow.
And this is the beginning. So a lot of, if I believe that uh transgenders have been around for a long time. And then also, this is something where a lot of transgenders are going to actually, if they needed spirituality or a deity to look up to, this is one of the ones that, like, I don't want to say like doesn't judge them, I guess, but they actually,
Could speak to them, would
yeah,
be like a really
yeah,
powerful deity for them to link up with, like could merge their energies with. I agree.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's just, oh God, so much.
Hold on, for some reason my battery's not okay. I'm like, I'm gonna cut out here in a minute. Oh no, okay. Technical difficulties.
I know, right? While you're doing that, I have a statement that I want to talk about that I found really powerful. If we can get past some trigger words of Christ, okay? So keep in mind this isn't so literal. I found this person said that the Black Madonna symbolizes the intimacy of the human soul with Christ and is a symbol of the human capacity to birth the Christ within.
Oh,
So let's break that down. Because, like, we get triggered with trigger words like Christ, Jesus, all these things, right? What that's
what?
saying is that she is a symbol of us being able to reach a higher potential, a more godlike potential of what we would call a godlike potential.
Mhm. So how would we do that?
Well, we'd have to go into that. You would probably have to work with the Black Madonna, but that's what I'm saying is it's been said that she symbolizes that. She is a symbol of the human capacity to birth the Christ within,
Wow, that's cool.
which I thought was just, I like, again, this blew my mind. I'm going to say it like 20 freaking times on this episode, but I thought that was a really cool statement, a really powerful statement, and made me, I was like, dude, I have to know more. I have to know how to work with her. I have to know if I can work with her and if I do, if I, what I need to do. Cause like, that's just so, to me, that's really powerful that we have a symbol of like a deity who is showing us that we have that capacity to like
Mhm.
waking up to our godlike potential, which I
Yep.
find fascinating. Yeah. Um, let's see. So she represents the divine wisdom, a symbol of the sacred feminine, an embodiment of the transformative power of suffering and compassion.
Mhm.
I have a ton of different names that she has has been called and like what that means for them. Um, let's see.
Is
So
she related to Sophia? Is that
I
part of it too?
I saw something about Sophia, but I didn't write any of that down because again, I was like, that's a whole nother path because I feel like we'd have to explain who and what Sophia is. If you
That's
know
fair.
anything though, please feel free to share because I was like skimming a little bit because I was like, I can't believe
Well, there's a
that's gonna be a
whole
whole.
that's it's Gnostic, so it's like so rough story would be that Sophia had a counterpart and they were like almost like together, but for some reason she felt well, she wanted to go by herself to create her own like god or deity or birth her own like she didn't have any help. She didn't get any help from her counterpart. So she birthed the demiurge, which is the what Gnostics say like is the god, the mean god, the bad god or whatever, the
Mm,
suffering god is what is ruling this planet.
mm,
So she fell from grace basically because she created this by herself and like she didn't get permission. And I got stuck on that because I was like, well, why did she fall? And I meditated on it a little bit and I was like, what I saw was is that it's almost like when you're up and peaceful and like perfectly where you're balanced where you're at, you forget what divinity is. So you have to fall to forget divinity and then climb your way back up. That's kind of like where Jacob's ladder comes in because she showed me a huge ladder
mm-hmm.
and you could see everybody kind of like working their way up or whatever. So you have to work your way up because you forgot why divinity was so important. You forgot like why you were there in the first place. You know, that kind of thing. Like it's like you have to fall to kind of remember why you were there in the first place.
And so is Sophia considered like a deity as well?
Hmm.
Because I know a lot of people have probably never heard of that before.
Yeah, if you look up Sophia, in the Gnostic text, that's where you're going to get a lot of that information is through there. And that's a whole um
Whole thing.
it's a whole thing. There is actually if you go on Amazon Prime, there is oh, what is that stuff called? The Great Lecturer courses, the Great Lecturer courses. So you have to subscribe to it. But it will tell you like understanding Gnostic, understanding like New Testament, understanding. And this historian goes through all of it and tells you um the meaning of it, like what the history was of it, what was happening at the time in the world at the same time that this was all being creative. Like the New Testament
Interesting.
one is very, very good too, especially if you want a rough dive through the Bible. It's great because it gives you like a foothold through it.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
Also, can you explain Jacob's ladder for those that don't understand what Jacob's ladder is either?
Oh, I don't know if I can actually explain it. Essentially, what it is it's your climb back to God.
Yeah, it's like, you know how we always say like new level, new devil type thing? It's kind of
Hmm.
like that where you're just leveling up until you become godlike.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
And I'm sure there's a whole deep dive in that.
that was a really, really rough, really on the spot,
Oh,
really
nervous.
soft, scratchy on
Makes
the surface.
right. Makes me nervous.
We touched it.
We touched it. We looked at it through the window and we walked by.
For real. Absolutely. Um, So yes, I did read something about Sophia, but like I said, I had scratched over it because I knew Sophia's a whole big topic as well as like her relation with the Black Madonna. And I was like, this is why we need a part two.
Well, and that okay, so this is where it kind of goes together too, because you said wisdom was kind of like the Black Madonna. Well, Sophia in some circles is connected with wisdom.
Mm.
So, like, there's a little crosshair thing that we could look at some point.
I did not know what kind of can of worms this was going to open for me or for you truly. Uh,
But here we are.
but it's the best kind of can of worms. Okay, I like these worms. Okay, so what I have next is that all the names she's been called, because like there's like I said in the beginning, there's a vast magnitude of her essence. There's just like a lot that the Black Madonna is and takes care of essentially, I guess you could say for a better lack of words.
Well, if you
Um,
think about it, like, if you think about it in like space terms, think
yeah.
of how much blackness is in space compared to the light.
Perfect way to introduce her first name that she has been known by, and that's the Cosmic Mother. So, what I read on this is that the Black Madonna is the darkness of the void from which light is even born. All is born from the void. She's the formless void at the beginning of the Rig Veda in Hinduism and the book of Genesis in the Bible. That's what I was looking for right there. Um, she is the seed and source of creation and the manifested counterpart to the transcendental being, meaning like, out there, I guess you could say, for better lack terms, the ether,
The
um,
ether.
of the Heavenly Father beyond all creations. So she's his counterpart.
Yes.
And the
It's the
universe is
divine mother
embraced
and
by
the
her.
divine father.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you. Yes. And it says the universe is embraced and mothered by her. If you think about the cosmos and beyond, and I'm going to freak some people out and beyond, she is that. She holds us.
Yes.
He, like,
So if
him
you
and
want
her
to
made
know,
us.
if you wanted to
Mom and
know
dad.
if the chicken or the egg came first, the chicken came first.
Yes. Yes. Um, the next one I have is that the Black Madonna has also been called the Earth Mother. It's said that the Earth Mother emerged out of primordial chaos. Primordial means existing at from the beginning of time. So, like when we were just talking
Okay.
about how she's the cosmic mother, basically that was primordial chaos. It's like existing at the beginning of time. She was pre-time because
Free time.
time is a man-made concept, but anyways, may not get on that high horse. Also being as the Earth Mother, it the reason she has that name is because she sustains and nourishes all life through her body, and all living things return to her.
Hmm.
So it's like a really easy way to make her make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Easy.
right, right. Yeah, uh-huh.
I'm gonna need a
Um,
PhD for this one.
oh God, I know, right? I feel like I'm grabbing it. I'm
Right.
touching at the I'm touching at the little whispers of it.
I like it make my brain hurt.
Yeah. This one could make your brain hurty for sure. For
Hmm.
sure. I like this name for her and I like all that this encompasses because I feel like this one's just like I'll just read it. Okay, the Black Madonna as the sorrowful mother through her stare. So they say that like pagans will say is if you light a candle and you stare at it, on the other side of that candle is her stare. She's staring at you through the darkness and
Oh,
the other side of the
okay.
candle.
I like that.
Through that, her stares, all the failures of humanity are in her stare. All the violence, the fears, the sickness, pollution, economic injustice, anything that you could think of that's a failure of humanity is in her stare. She bears the cost, the price, the anguish, and the sacred agony of the defined feminine within all of us.
Oof.
Oh, I love her.
Ugh.
She is the part of us that's burned, wounded, seared, and broken by the world.
Mhm.
And this part is bleh, ready?
Yep.
And standing in front of us in her burned black dignity, she embodies the strength of enduring endless suffering without closing her heart, of standing in the fire and being burned and charred without ever turning away from the necessity of loving in a complete and total way.
Wow.
Oh, she prevails, she mends, she endures.
It's so funny because I feel like I just got an energy shift of like, you mean you can love during all of that?
All of it. She bears it all and still loves us. Doesn't turn away at all. Never turns away. Ugh. I got chills all over my body. That part reading that, I had to put that in because I was like, that it explains how big and important this deity is.
Mhm.
The fact that I've never known her, upsetting. I have been done a disservice.
Disservice.
Thank you for bringing her into my life.
You're welcome. Well, I knew she was important. You can thank that was that retreat I went. I came back with the Black Madonna, like, oh,
Yeah, dude. Holy shit. Like that just really got me that we have I don't know, I feel like a lot of the times our deities can be very right or wrong, black or white. Sometimes, there's not like this big mystery to them and how they handle things. And I feel like this is the mystery.
yeah,
She is the mystery. She like it's almost like trying to make space make sense in your head.
right.
Because who really knows how space works?
Well,
Because
that's why
they're,
they brought up dark matter because, like, that's the one thing that they don't know how to explain, but they know it's there.
yeah, right? I'm like, dude, a lot of the things that we think are facts are theories. And I always think about that and makes me feel better about like, well, nothing's really a fact. Everything is mostly theory. But like, this is one of those things where it's like, it makes me feel better again, where it's like, we have this deity that there's the mystery. It's
Mhm.
the dark matter. You don't know what it is. You can't hold it. You can't break it down and synthesize it and I don't know, recreate it. You can't do that. Because you don't even know what the fuck you're working with.
No. But she
Huh.
loves you anyway.
But she loves you anyways. That she will stand and hold your suffering and tell you how much she loves
Yeah.
you.
Which is truly like
Weird.
how a mother's supposed to be, right? I mean,
Preach it.
that's the thing is like we complain and all this kind of stuff, and what we really need is a mom. We need her to be there to tell us when we're fucking up, and we need her to hug us when we're crying,
Mhm.
you know?
So, again, another good lead in, Nicole. The next name I have for her is the Mother of Compassion.
Mhm.
The womb of the universe that provides the cosmic lab where all creatures gather. She is the throne of compassion. Only the great mother, the mother of compassion, could provide the compassion needed by the sorrowful human condition. Said she is the mother who weeps tears for the suffering in the universe and the suffering in the world. In the Christian tradition, she holds the dying Christ in her lap.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oof.
That one? Have you ever seen it's Michelangelo, I think?
Uh-uh. Oh, you can pull it
Girl.
up for us.
Yes, I
Yeah,
have
because
to.
when I was reading more about this and I remembered this to talk about it because this hit me really hard. Christ is in these terminologies when we're talking about the Black Madonna. Christ is what we can depict as ourselves.
Right.
Christ is us in human form. So the fact that the she holds the dying Christ in her lap, she's
O
what holds us.
okay, so this is called the Pietà. So it's Pieta with a little thing on it.
Sounds French. I don't know.
Is Michelangelo. I was right about that part at least. So this,
Oh, I have seen that. I didn't know that was that.
yeah,
Ay,
it is one of
ay,
my most favorite. Like the moment I saw this in my art history class, in love,
yeah,
in love with this.
that's
Like
beautiful.
it's one of those things that and they even explained it like actually like the Jesus is way too big for her to actually be holding and like it's not supposed to be
Pish
like
posh.
well I think they were saying it to like how great Michelangelo's like skills was to like
Mm,
because it doesn't it's not like it should make sense kind of thing.
that's beautiful statue.
Mm-hmm.
This part gets me too. Basically, she is who invites us to enter into our grief and to learn what suffering has to teach us. The wisdom gleaned from the grieving heart becomes the fertile womb to birth the new,
Wow.
is what I read. And I love that because we talk about this often, but we don't say it that beautifully. That like y- when you grieve, you move things through, right? You're moving
Right.
it through and it's becoming fertile ground. It's like you're able to start blossoming new things. It's basically you're moving out the old, getting in the new.
It's like a forest fire.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Well, and the nice thing that we can think about that and use her for is that when you are grieving, she's sitting with you. And in the dark, she's there too.
Mhm.
All these things that we're totally afraid of, like she's it.
Right. Yeah, it's really mind-blowing when you really do think about it. Like, I hope we're not the only ones feeling like this, you guys, when you guys listen to this, because like I said, I'd never heard of her, and just to think about everything that she stands for and all the things that, she can be as a deity, it's just so comforting because to have a deity that loves us so truly without looking away, who is so vast it's hard to understand, who embodies nature and compassion and healing and um, all of our sorrows, holds all of it, and then wants to be there to uplift us and hold us in that the whole time is like,
Well, and she's doing it so we grow.
it's so cool to find another deity that I've never heard about that like is this like mm, good, this good. Oof. Mm-mm-mm. Um, so I read what this writer I wrote down what this writer from this article wrote, and I like the way she said this because she was talking about where she thought that the Black Madonna came from. And she said that I believe the Black Madonna rose out of our collective unconsciousness with the purpose of healing the injustice of our patriarchal contract. She said, I believe she was born out of the hearts of the men and women who were longing for her, who could feel the lack of her in their bones, although they never became conscious of it.
No, that's very well put because it you can feel it as soon as you like acknowledge it.
I chills everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautifully said too because it's no we're not a stranger to the fact that our patriarchal contract, which I love the way that's said, kind of it affects everybody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, you can't show feelings because you're not being a man, and you got to, that's part of the patriarch is like you have to be a manly man, and men don't show their feelings, and you got to be strong all the time, but you do have this feminine side of you that you do have feelings, and you would like to be asked how your day went and told that you are loved and be held. And right now in the world we're going in, because it is a patriarchal contract, women have been made to, stand up and be a man.
Mhm.
It's move on, be a man. Um,
Absolutely. When we
and
talk about feminine power right now, that's what we talk about is the fact that it's not women standing in their femininity and showing power with that. It's women trying to be men.
it's us standing in the masculine and trying to be more masculine so that we can
Mhm.
have a spot at the table. It's like we're
Mhm.
fighting with elbows that they're fighting with. We got new shiny elbows. We're gonna use them.
Mhm.
I like I love that this writer put that she believes that the Black Madonna was born out of the hearts of the men and women who are longing for her and feel the lack of her in their bones. I love that part because
Mhm.
before today in reading this, I agree with her statement 100%. There is that lack for me. There has been that lack for me in
Mhm.
a deity. No offense to the other deities I work with, but there has been that lack of like this true feminine power, like this just deep, fast, mysterious, wise, caring, nurturing,
Mhm.
end in beginning, like power,
Right.
essentially.
Well, she's the one that can wield compassion as a power, right? Because we don't see compassion as a power.
100%. Sorrow
Mhm.
too, right?
Yeah,
At
yeah.
that same point, she wields sorrow as a friggin' like power because we've talked about, gosh, we've done so many episodes on how like grief and sadness and anger and all these things that
Mhm.
are bad, quote unquote, um, how they can be power, how they can be used for power. And here is a deity who's using these things as power, compassion for sure, because compassion can be looked at as quote unquote weakness,
Mhm.
and it's not.
It's not, but I feel like this world wants to use you up and spit you out. They don't really wanna nurture you.
I agree with that.
You know, it's not thrive, it's more like, "What can you do for me until you die?"
Hmm.
Like, once they use you up and you're all, like, used up, no, you don't matter, you don't have any worth anymore.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
There's this big, on a lot of my research, I really felt this deity really resembled um human connectedness,
Mhm.
about how it's not who you are or what you identify as or like what your beliefs are, other than the fact that she doesn't care.
No.
And it's about the fact that she's here for you.
Mhm.
Um, not necessarily, I don't know, a certain group of people.
Right. Well, especially if she encompasses, like, suffering and sorrow and anger and all the stuff that we tend to, um, pretend like those don't exist,
Hmm.
and she sees it and loves you anyway.
Yeah. I I have so much more research to do. I should have done this days ago, but everything happens for a reason. Because I probably would have went off a little minty
A
cliff there.
threshold there, yeah, "I gotta
Little
go."
jump.
I'll give you one of those flying squirrel suits, you'll be fine.
Yeah, right? I just need the fool holding my hand, I'll be alright.
Alright.
Um, the last couple of things I have is that the spiritual significance of the Black Madonna is complex, it's multifaceted, and it transcends, meaning it goes beyond simplistic explanations. We're trying to make it more simplistic today, and we'll go further in the next episode, but it does go beyond that, because like I said, how do you explain a mystery? Like Cole said, how do you explain what dark matter is, or how to grasp it or create it, or
Yeah, there's no
and,
boundaries.
and the other thing that gets me is that she also is just such a widespread presence
Mhm.
that's not highly known of, I guess. I guess in my mind it's not. I never have heard anybody talk about this in our area, and it could be towards our area too. So there could be other
Right.
areas that know very well about the Black Madonna.
Right, right. I think in Europe and Africa and India, they have a lot of shrines and churches that have the Black Madonna. In fact, there was something about the Pope has one too. Like they worship the Black Madonna as well, but she's behind the curtain. Like she's not in the limelight of, which makes sense, obviously, but she's like behind the curtain of it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I said, I was like, first person I ran to was my grandma. She's been a Christian for almost her whole life, or a Catholic. And they pray to the Blessed Mary for healing and, fertility and, a place to like go when you have sorrow. But I've never heard of them talk about the Black Madonna, and she had never heard of it. And I thought that was also so interesting because I was like, huh,
There's videos, if you go on, there's videos of the Pope, like, actually like, they're holding a picture of an icon of the Black Madonna, and he's actually, like, kissing the feet of a statue kinda thing.
how interesting.
Mhm,
Yeah, because like the Black Madonna goes, her presence is across various cultures and religions
mhm,
and
mhm,
traditions. And like I said, it highlights the interconnectedness of humanity, and then also the shared spiritual quest that's above every other thing. There's not barriers to it
mm-mm.
because, again, this is a very vast deity that is.
Um, there are parts of parts of Europe where they said that the reason why some of the Madonnas are black is because of, like, a storm, and it, like, tarnished the wood, or there was a lot of incense and candle burning, and that made the statues turn dark. And so there are like people that are
Yes.
trying to, right, explain her away.
Yeah, that was part of the history that I had read. There's a lot of there was like some young theorists that have other theories out there as well. And like I did read about how they have said that, um the incense burnt or the smoke from all of that has over time tarnished her and made
Hmm.
her look black in color. And I'm like, I mean, really, because if we get down to the essence of who she is, I mean, she's the freaking cosmic void. She's a cosmic mother. She's the void. She's the. What do you? Oh, okay.
Right. Well, that's the thing is you can shine your light as bright as you want to. She's still going to show up.
Yeah,
She's still going to be there. You can't get rid of her, right? Like
right.
the sun, the brightest thing that we know, is still engulfed in blackness.
Well, you ain't wrong there. I haven't ever thought about that.
Which makes it sense if you talk about a seed. So if she's the womb, the sun's the seed because it's the sun.
This episode should have came with a warning. You might also run up to your little menti cliff too here.
Hey, I got my flying squirrel on. I'm jumping.
I've just never, oh man, that one sentence you just said, I've never thought about the sun being basically shrouded in darkness around other than the sun.
Right.
How interesting. Um, Last couple of things that I have is that she embodies the inherent potential for growth and transformation that lies within us, urging us to embrace the complexities of our own spiritual journeys. And that she just serves as a powerful reminder of the potential for healing and growth that lies within each of us. Also to potentially throw you over your mental cliff. So,
Well, I mean, that's the point. What are we doing here if we're not going to be thrown over a cliff at some point?
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, come on. We didn't come here to dance around the edges,
No, that'd be boring as hell. I want to know
right?
what's it. I want to know what's over the cliff.
I gotta go.
I gotta go. It's like what's over the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if Dorothy would have never did what she did.
This is a really great topic because I just feel I have this overwhelming feeling of like I'm not alone. And like I know I'm not alone. But like I'm not alone.
I get it because it's like the best way I can describe it is if you've ever been touched by a deity or you've ever talked to a deity or had dreams of a deity, it's powerful shit. But this feels different. It feels like I'm scratching the surface and the surface, like my body's not ready for that scratch on the surface. Like my soul's not ready, but it is. But like also I gotta work to that. Does that make sense? It's like
Yeah, yeah. It's
how
like
when
a
you
goal.
yeah, like when you do
Mm-hmm.
high magic, and you start working with energies and stuff, and you're not running energy and getting your body prepared, getting your astral body prepared,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember we talked about this multiple times. You blow a chakra, fucking
Mm-hmm.
blow it wide open. You take out a fucking hurricane and you're not ready. Guess what? You're gonna blow a fucking chakra. You're gonna be out of commission for days.
Yeah.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
this kind of feels like to me. This kind of feels like that. Like there's just more work that needs to be done to try to hold more of this capacity or be in that energy more
Mm-hmm.
fully.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, yeah, that when you have um big energies, it can make you feel crazy,
Mm-hmm.
for better lack of terms. Like there's a lot of gods and deities out there that are well,
Overwhelming.
yeah, yeah, that's a great word for it. I was gonna try to explain like Pan and uh Papa, and there's a lot of energies that they're very big. They hold a lot of energy and it can be
Mm-hmm.
so overwhelming. That's the best way to say that. And I feel like that's what this feels like in a not a bad way by any means, but just like a I'm very hyper aware of it way.
Well, it's a calling almost. Like you now that you found it, it's almost like you have to have like you have something to work for almost, right? Like,
Fuck yeah, it's like the first time I've ate cake
mm-hmm.
or like
Mm-hmm.
cheesecake because I love cheesecake and now I need more. I
Uh-huh.
need to know how to make it so I can have some and like I can have it whenever I want it all the time if I wanted to. And like, yeah,
I think
that
this is a really cool thing because, like I said, especially finding a deity for transgenders when they're so lost out there, it's a really cool place for that. And then
hell
all the
yeah.
naysayers that are out there that are like, the fact that the men were willing to dedicate themselves in such a way to her is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, 100%. The fact that this is again one deity that is same name because we have other deities that are different traditions, different cultures, different religions, but seem the same. This is one deity with the same name throughout many but cultures, many
Mm-hmm.
religions.
Mm-hmm.
I also find that fascinating too, because it's like, how do you, that's not really, that doesn't happen often, like if at all. I don't really know of a lot that have the same exact name throughout multiple cultures,
Mm-hmm.
multiple religions.
No, they all have like, now I have been working on a theory where like, because at some point in meditation, they showed me um Inanna all the way down to Lilith to Isis to Eve to like they showed me this line almost like either a generational line or they're all from the same.
Branch, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like energy, like almost like it got trickled down into different forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could see what you mean by that. Yeah, that it blows my mind. She blows my freaking mind. Okay. Yeah, just so much. There's just so much. I love this too. I'm glad we brought this up. I hope that this it piques your interest like it has ours, or you guys feel it too. Because even just saying the Black Madonna gives me chills.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I feel like we have so much more to cover, like a lot more to cover. I find the history that they have theorized very interesting. I think we need to go deeper into the stories with the cult of Isis as well as Sophia,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can give you guys more ideas and like give you more history on this so you feel more comfortable with the idea of the Black Madonna. But I feel like we grasped today a good idea of who she is and what she represents and kind of an idea again vast, very very vast topic of what she can do for you too, you know. Um,
Yeah, I feel like she's a really good one to go in. Like she's a solid form that not only has she had everything done to her, but she'll sit in it and hold you. She's so big and so vast that she's got enough space for you too. Like you're
yeah,
never too much.
yeah. The freaking how big's a void? Riddle me that. You know the answer to that. Freaking call me, man. Let's have a conversation.
Seriously. Well, just think, watch a space show. Watch any space show. And when you see a plane, okay, Jupiter Rising. Let's throw that. So Jupiter Rising, there's a part in it where he gets thrown out of airlock. There's a guy. He got thrown out of the airlock. And the ship like warps off and he's left just in a spacesuit in the middle of nowhere. There's no docking station. There's no it's the uh. Now granted, they show up just in the nick of time, or else it would have been a really short movie. But
Yeah. It's all in 10 minutes. Shows over and you're like, wait, what?
yeah, what happened? I know my attention span is short, but
I'm confused.
I'm confused.
Man, being in space like that just ugh.
Every time I see something like that, like I just watched Life, which has Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and the mother from Dune. I don't know what her name is. Um, oh, just there's always that scene where something goes floating off, like they miss something and it goes floating off, and you can't get them because they're gone. And
Like, you know, the idea of space doesn't bother me so much when it's not in my face. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, it does.
I
It
can't
does.
really watch like what's another one? There's a one with is it not J-Lo, Halle Berry, um
Was it
space.
Sandra Bullock?
Oh, Sandra Bullock, is that who it is? I think that's who it is. Um, let's see. I couldn't watch this movie. I can't. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Gravity.
Gravity. Yep.
Gravity. She has,
I
yep,
love space movie.
it's about an American astronaut who attempts to return to Earth after the destruction of the space shuttle in orbit. She's stranded in space and tries to get back to Earth. Now, how I don't know because I haven't watched it. I can't watch it because the idea. I like Gravity.
I like Gravity.
I
I
really
don't.
like Gravity.
I
I
don't
like her
want to float.
ozone.
No, I
I
agree.
don't want to float in space.
I always thought it was interesting that we don't explore the ocean more because it's here and it would get us ready for space, we go straight to space. And I'm like, both of them are the same thing, right? Like, if you're that far underneath the ocean, like the Empire State Building to the ocean, right? If you got out of your craft, there's nothing. It's not like you can walk down, like, it's so mind-blowing that you're so close to humanity and life and saving you, but you're so far away.
Yeah, if I had to pick between space and the ocean, I'd pick space.
I think I would pick the ocean.
Yeah, I knew you would. I'd pick space.
Well, because space is frozen and I don't want to freeze. Although the ocean's cold too. But I've watched lots of sci-fi movies and I don't think I want to freeze to death. I'd rather drown.
I think let's say, okay, theory, because like, we're gonna pretend this is actually able to happen. Let's say you were gonna last though for like 3 hours underwater, but you're gonna die. You're gonna die either way. But
Right.
you're gonna last 3 hours under the ocean or 3 hours in space. I'm picking space. Hopefully, I'll see some cool shit, but I know I'm,
Right? Like either way, you hope you see cool shit before
either
you
way.
die, right? Like,
Well, for me,
because,
I'm like, I don't want to see what's in the ocean.
oh,
I'm scared. I'm scared.
I'll see it for you.
Yeah. See what we could do is you could pick ocean, I'll pick space, and when we die, we compare notes.
Absolutely.
We show each other what we saw.
I will show you the Leviathan that lives in the trench.
The Cthulhu. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
Great,
I'm
now I'll be
gonna,
done at that point. Well, I care. I'll be like, oh, that's fucking cool.
right. You'll be like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Hmm. So funny.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, there's our Black Madonna
yeah, Black Madonna
episode.
part one. Also ending on a really weird left turn.
Well,
True
it's
to our
funny.
nature.
It's funny. I asked Rob the other day. I go, which if you were to had to own one of them, there's
Okay.
no choice
Okay.
between a chimpanzee and a tiger. You had to own one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way I thought about this,
Do you want my answer first?
no.
Okay.
Well, maybe, I don't know. What would
No,
be
go ahead.
better? Okay. The way I thought about this is I'd rather die by tiger than die by chimpanzee.
Oh, 100%. If you would have said chimpanzee, I would have been like, you're crazy, dude.
Yeah,
You're
fuck that.
crazy. Because, like,
Mm-mm.
I just actually, it's so
Mm-mm.
funny you say this because just was watching, of course, TikTok video yesterday where this girl worked in a zoo and she was working with different handlers and stuff. And she said that because the beginning of the clip is this person, they're on a boat, they see a orangutan. Um,
I just
and she
watched this.
said,
Did you send it to me?
I maybe, because she goes, I'll never forget what this person told me.
Mhm.
Chimpanzees will kill you just to kill you.
Just to kill you.
What was the other one?
Gorillas.
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 Gorillas will
Gorillas.
kill you to protect whatever they feel like protecting.
Well, no, she said protect you. So it was like an accidental killing. They would
Orangutans?
they would kill you to like,
Orangutans will kill you because they're curious. And I was like, I don't fuck with monkeys, dude.
I
Nope,
don't
I
fuck with
don't fuck with
monkeys. I
monkeys. I
do
would
not
rather
fuck with
be
monkeys.
mauled by
Nope.
a tiger. I would
Abs.
rather have a tiger and take
Yes.
my chances with a tiger. I'm not
Yes.
doing a monkey. Any
Nope.
monkey.
Nope.
Monkeys. No. No, thank you.
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
What did
Because
he say? Did he pick chimpanzee?
No, he thought I
Oh,
was
thank God.
weird because I actually was like, no, I'd rather die by tiger than I'd
I
die
would
by
rather
man.
die by tiger.
I go, this is why. Because a chimpanzee will come over and bite your face and bite your groin and bite your feet and bite your hands off and leave you alive. Fuck
They're
that.
psychotic.
At
A
least the
tiger will
tiger,
maul your throat.
right, and I'm dead.
Done.
I mean,
Goodbye.
maybe I got a few minutes
R.I.P.
until my blood comes out, but
Yep.
like,
I'm
I-
signing off.
I'd probably
Shock's
be
gonna
like,
set in.
nice kitty.
Yeah, I was gonna say shock's gonna set in. I'm gonna be like, this is the coolest way to die.
You would feel their whiskers. It would be nice.
Yeah. It's like growling, and I'm like, oh, who's
Aw,
an
you're
angry
cute.
baby?
Who's a good baby?
You're so mad. Yeah.
Yep, so that's the way our twisted brains work.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something in those monkeys' eyes. I have no interest. None.
No, no.
None.
Because they'll kill infants
They kill
and eat
anything
them.
just for the hell of it. Chimpanzees will
Mm-hmm.
kill anything just for the fucking hell of it because they are
Mm,
psychotic. And
mm,
orangutans are curious. And that right there gives me serial killer vibes. I don't like it. I don't like it.
don't like it.
Like there's a difference. Ugh. Oh, yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Hey, you want to go to the jungle? Ooh.
I'll take my chances with the ocean at that point.
Right, right, right.
I'm happy I live in Michigan.
Oof,
Pretty
right?
cozy here.
As long as we don't get lost in the woods.
Yeah, for real. All right, peeps. Well, next episode we're gonna go deeper into this topic, the Black Madonna. Hope you like
We're
this
going
episode.
deeper dive, deeper dive.
Deeper
Yep.
dive. Yeah, we wouldn't be doing it justice if we didn't.
Well, and I think what we should do is maybe meditate with her for the full week too
Ooh, you
and
guys
see
could do
what we
that
can
with
kind of
us.
get that. Yeah, I think that would be really cool if we all kind of like came back to the table and see what we found.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, that's a good idea.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, peeps. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye, heathens.